to the Jiu-Jitsu Project Podcast with Professor Butch and myself, Professor Mike Geary. This is our 9. Is this number 9 or is this number 10? Is this number 11? 11, we think. I don't know.
10 or 11.
We'll have to look it up.
We'll ask some of our old students who kind of keep track of dates and times and places to make sure that so that Mike's not embellishing time.
Oh yeah. I'm notorious for embellishing time. I add a year or two onto everything, and then I usually have some old students of mine that pipe in on Facebook and go, "Oh no, you got your belt this time," blah 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 blah. So.
And then I usually laugh because I'm like, yeah, that's true.
It is true.
It is true.
So we're gonna have a controversial discussion tonight. We're gonna talk about promotions. We're gonna talk about promotions and how you get them. We're going to talk about how sometimes other people make comments about certain promotions that are given and stuff like that. We've had some of these things creep up recently, and I don't know, it's just time for us to address them a little bit.
And also too, it is a perfect time of the year to talk about that because
everyone's getting promoted.
Because we're having our fall promotions, December 28th. Winter promotions. December 28th, Saturday, December 28th, so right after Christmas. So if you don't get your belt for Christmas, you'll get it hopefully after Christmas.
That's it.
Before New Year's. But most schools do promotions, twice a year?
So back in our days with Eduardo, we never had a promotion ceremony.
No, we never did.
Eduardo would promote us the old-fashioned way, which is that at the moment he felt like you were that belt, for whatever reason, you got that belt that night, or you got that stripe that night.
And we didn't even do stripes at first.
No, we didn't do stripes for a while.
No, it was, I think it was when I got maybe purple belt is when we started doing stripes.
More, for sure.
Our instructor is Eduardo de Lima. He's from the Gracie Baja lineage, if you're looking at
wanting to know who he is.
Wanting to know who he is.
Very famous Gracie Baja instructor, considered one of the legends of Gracie Baja.
And we trained it with Eduardo in Clearwater, Florida. So, and we trained with him for 10, 11 years, 12 years together. So, I mean, we've been around the block and we've seen promotions and we've seen people who, I guess the controversy is that, people feeling like, well, they should be promoted, or, maybe I should have got the promotion. And like Mike said, we've had those things creep up lately here locally, and some other people that, aren't here locally saying, well, they should be promoted. So it's just real interesting how that kind of pops its head up. But, for everything that I've seen and been through in jiu-jitsu and in martial arts, there's really no in jiu-jitsu especially, no expressed, written guidelines to when people should be promoted.
No, it's a kind of a unique thing, I think, is that the instructor usually watches the individual student, and as the student gets better for that individual, the instructor then decides when the appropriate time is for promotion. When we were growing up, we asked Eduardo, how is it like? And basically, our one of the first answers he said is when you're a white belt and you're beating most of the white belts and some of the blue, then you're probably ready for blue.
You could hang with them,
if you could hang with them. If you're blue and you're beating most of the blues and you're catching some of the purples, you move up to purple. Something like that. There was always time was an issue as well.
Yeah.
Eduardo, for us, I got my blue belt in 6 months, but then I stayed, I want to say I stayed in blue for 2.5, almost 3 years until purple. And then purple, it was about 3 years, and I think it was the same for brown. I mean, it's 3, 3, 3, and then we got black.
Well, and I know Mike's dates and times are a little bit off, but I have everything of mine written down.
Yes, you do.
So I was and I can break it out, but due to time constraints and everything, I won't do that because I have everything listed out.
We can do that. That's all right. You can do that. We don't have time constraints. It's our podcast.
That's true. But I was a white to blue belt for 9 months. I was a blue belt for 33 months, which is almost 3 years, and then a purple belt for 4 years and a brown belt for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I got my black belt in right almost like within a couple months of 10 years exactly.
Well, we had our black belts together, so
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think you were in a little bit longer than I was. I competed a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, and Eduardo was very big into competition, but
Yeah.
but see that brings back to the controversy of, you know, some instructors say you have to compete to get your belts, kind of like judo.
Yep.
Some people say, well, maybe if you're an MMA fighter, you would advance a lot quicker. But the truth of it is, everybody comes into a martial arts school, whether it be karate, jiu-jitsu, kung fu, whatever the case may be, for various different reasons. You have maybe a 110-pound girl, and then you get a 300-pound guy.
Well, how about the guy that's 63?
That's 63.
Or how about the guy that's 70?
Yeah.
You know, we had Nico DeHaan was 70 something when he came in. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, Nico got his belt. You know, he was promoted fast and stuff like that." And I'm like, we saw how well Nico did. I mean, he really was he comparable to like a 30-year-old black belt? No, of course not. But Nico was amazing. Competed all the time in his age division out in the pans and the worlds. So.
And see that there lies the problem is you can never I guess judge your progress against someone else's.
Yep,
because your reasons for being in the arts and your time frame is different than someone else. And also too, if you're not in the school on a daily basis, or if you're not part of the day-to-day training of that location, then you really have no clue what's going on and who trains what. The person that you're probably having a beef with may train 5 days a week, but you just perceive it as they're not as good as you.
Right.
You know, but there again, maybe they're not a competitor. Maybe they just want to come in and want to be part of physical activity, maybe be part of the dojo for social reasons. Maybe their husband, you know, is a member here too, and that's something they can do together.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So to kind of complain about promotion in that regards is you know, just
Silly,
not good.
not
Silly,
good, silly, not
silly.
good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, I think. If you're not an instructor, if you don't have your own school and your students, but if you're not a black belt and you are sitting there talking about other people getting rank and stuff like that, I think the bottom line is you should just shut up. You are in the dojo a couple days a week. The instructor's there all the time, watching every single student progress, having their difficulties, and you know, like the day in and day out life comes into play in the dojo. Maybe people were sick, maybe they came back from an injury, stuff like that. If you're not a black belt, be quiet. Be quiet and stop complaining about who got promoted and who didn't get promoted. If you didn't get promoted, it's probably because your teacher thinks that you can do more. The teacher thinks, no, I want you to wait a little bit longer. Maybe they're looking for a little bit more aggression on the mat. Maybe they're looking for a little bit more technical ability on the mat. Whatever they're doing, they want you to grow a little bit more, and it's not your time. So rather than getting upset about it because, you know, Joe Stevens got promoted and you know you're better than Joe Stevens, even though Joe Stevens is 20 years older than you and, you know, something else like that, stop judging and continue to train. If you train consistently, and that's the one thing I've seen in jiu-jitsu all the time, if you stay consistently, you will get promoted. You'll get your rank. It will come. I've never seen anybody not get promoted unless they quit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they quit, they're gone. Or they quit and then they're gone. We've had Sean Kendrick.
Yeah.
Sean Kendrick, good friend of ours. Sean Kendrick was in jiu-jitsu for a while, had some life stuff happen, and he was gone for 7 years. 7 years. Came back. Now he's in it. Now he's a purple belt.
Yeah.
Left as a blue. Now he's been back for like 3 years or maybe somewhere around there, and he's a purple belt. And he's a really, really good purple belt. You know, those kind of things happen. Otherwise, just train. It's not about it's everyone's individual journey. It's not about, you know, what you think the teacher should have given this one a stripe or that one a stripe. It's not about that. It's about your own individual journey out there training.
That is true. Now the only disagreement to a certain degree I have with that is when we do see people, and we've seen it, and I've seen it I come from more of the karate background previous to coming into the jiu-jitsu world, and I've seen people who they're high-ranking black belts and couldn't fight themselves out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
And I've seen first-degree black belts who are phenomenal fighters, but couldn't teach a lick.
Yep.
I mean, I guess the beef that I have to a certain degree is now we're talking about black belts who haven't trained long enough, or maybe don't.
Or maybe they got their black belt because they joined a different organization,
Yeah.
and they got a very fast promotion because they joined an organization, and the organization didn't have a school or studio in one place. And there are jiu-jitsu black belts out there that are like that, that don't train, that teach sitting down on the wall, that don't really fight, and they're sitting around walking, wearing their black belts and stuff like that, saying, oh, well, my professor gave it to me. Well, we know your professor gave it to you because of business, not because you really earned your black belt. Let's be true about that. We had those situations. Because there's so much money to be made now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're seeing a lot of teachers promoting people because of those kind of things too.
And I think that's what was insulting, at least when I saw a particular mention of us giving away belts. I don't own the school. Mike is the owner and the head instructor of Newport Richie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we've been training a long time, and I have my input about who gets promoted and some things like that. And when I saw that, I was actually insulted, because then that's saying that I'm part of that, and I don't subscribe to that. I think everybody here that gets promoted deserves to be promoted in their own unique way. Some people I think maybe should be promoted a little faster, but you're looking for that something in particular that. And when we talk about it, I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
And then so it's that fine line that I think every instructor, every owner of a school, whether it even be a different type of martial arts, I think that's the fine line that you guys walk is promotions. Because why do people stay at schools a lot of times is to be promoted and achieve that goal of black belt one day. I also train in a different art right now, and I'm taking the slow.
You went back to white belt.
Yeah, I went back to white belt, and
but we were both black belts when we started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. So I mean, this is the martial way. It's not about getting the rank; it's about training. I went to Jiu-Jitsu because I wanted to learn Jiu-Jitsu. I didn't really care about the rank. I knew I would eventually become a black belt because I knew I wasn't going to ever quit.
Yeah.
The rank comes.
It does, and it's unfortunate now. Some instructors, be it all martial arts, do testing every 3 months, and you pay for your belt, and you pay for this and you pay for that, and I've never really found that in jiu-jitsu. I mean, the only thing Eduardo said was when he promoted you was, you owe me $10 for the belt.
It's 15.
15.
It was $15 for the belt.
And then if you ever got it to him, nobody ever knew.
No, right.
And if you paid him, but somehow it was, you owe me $15 for the belt, and then that was it. But we never got certificates. We never got it. I mean, it was no frills. I mean,
No,
it was, you owe me $15
because Eduardo taught us the right way, and the focus was training. The focus was about training. It wasn't. Remember, he used to say this. If we came up and asked him when we were going to get promoted, he would say, "I'm going to promote you 6 months from when I was going to promote you." And guess what? I wasn't going to promote you for another 3 or 4 months. That was the idea. So nobody asked him. You could ask him, what can I work on? You want to ask your instructor and kind of glean a little bit of what they're thinking about you. Ask them what to work on. What are some weaknesses you have that you can improve on? Then do that. Then do those things, and guess what? Your instructor will notice and probably go, oh, so-and-so's improved, and I'm ready to give him a promotion. That's how you speed that process up.
And most martial arts are like that. I mean, I'm still a Shodan for my first karate style because I was too afraid after my black belt test. I didn't want to ask my instructor, hey, when should I look to test again for second degree? So I got my first black belt in 1988, and I'm still a Shodan.
Yeah.
But that's the old Japanese traditional way, and some of the older martial artists, they think the same. Don't ask me. Just train, and it'll come when it comes. And
we've kind of gone in a little twisting path here. But the bottom line, if you're out there and you don't get promoted, just train. Try to let it go. If you really can't handle it, ask your instructor. Although I don't recommend that, I personally think that you should just stuff it and train.
I think maybe the question would be, what can I focus on to work on for getting to the next level?
Right. You could do that. That's perfect.
I think that's more of a diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah. And if you're out there and you don't get promoted, or it's not even your promotion time, and someone from another state even, gets promoted, don't sit there and bitch about it. It's their promotion, it's not your promotion. You don't walk in their shoes, you don't see what they're like, you're not with them day to day and seeing the improvements they have. Shut up.
Also, too, the reasons for your training may be totally different than their reasons for training. I mean, I'm not going to go. My plans are not to go out and be a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, or to be an MMA fighter. I'm 48 years old. I like coming in. I like training. I like training with different people. If I compete again, I'm going to compete again. But my goals in life are totally different now than they were when I was 20, when I was 30, when I was 35, when I was 40. So, I mean, my goal now is to just keep on learning as much as I can, and when the promotions come, and if they never do, I'm fine right where I'm at.
That right there, just train. Just show up and train, and you will get promoted eventually. Let it go. Let all the rest of the stuff go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
I was thinking about doing the Fabio bearing, where I just put a white belt on again, and maybe, but I can't do the red bar.
Well, I love Helio Gracie used to wear a blue belt.
Yeah, blue belt.
He
did that out of protest for all the black belts that weren't under his like tutelage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's interesting. So.
I'm not going that far.
We'll change the topic a bit. If you guys notice, our mats have changed. We have a beautiful mat cover that Daniel Nouveau, Dan, from the owner of the MMAC, hooked us up, came in, put it on. It was unbelievable. Dan, thank you again for what you did. You totally just changed the dojo. It's incredible. Looks so much better, feels so much better.
Feels bigger.
So we're really excited about the new mat cover that we have.
And we get to debut it tomorrow at the kids tournament.
Yep. We have a kids tournament tomorrow. We throw a kids tournament usually 3 times a year, and then we do an adult tournament usually once a year. And so it's kids only. We're going to give swords away to the advanced kids. That's a new thing. We try to do something new every tournament. So the advanced only kids, first place winners, will receive a sword. And I got those from Ross Kellen. Ross, thank you very much again. And so we'll be continuing that process. And then there you go. And then, that's Chloe beating up her mom, if you can focus in on that. Hi, Bella.
Hi.
You didn't even you were grabbing her sleeve.
I just
You didn't even have your arm.
I almost got her in her own game.
All right, everybody. Have a particularly great evening. Happy holidays, everybody. And
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Mike.
Christmas.
Merry
Absolutely.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We're not going to be politically correct. Merry
No,
Christmas.
no.
Happy New Year's. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy everything. Live life and prosper. Enjoy. See you, bye. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.